Hey you guys, it's Cayley. I'm back with another What Sold from last week video. These videos are me catching up on all of the What Sold videos over the last couple of weeks. So I'm trying to remember back to what these sales were, but honestly, I think my sales have been pretty steady over the last few weeks. Been a couple up and downs, which is to be expected, but overall they are pretty good for the holiday season. So I think we're just going to dive right in. If you guys are new here, you can subscribe down below and hit that notification bell. If you do that, you'll be notified every single time I post these videos. And usually every single week I post a What Sold video and I talk about my sales on eBay and Poshmark. Right, so catching up again, these numbers that you see here on this screen and on this report happened between November 19th through the 25th. Within that week, I sold 235 items split between two platforms, eBay and Poshmark. On eBay, I sold 129 items. On Poshmark, I sold 106. Gross item sales, which means I did not include what was paid to us for shipping. Just the items were $7,972.48, making my average sale price $33.93, and I am pretty happy with that, and I hope it keeps slowly increasing closer to $40. On eBay, my average sale price was actually almost $39, so incredible ASP on eBay. And then on Poshmark, it was about $28, which for that platform for me is actually really good. It tends to be where I sell, more of my older stuff, my lower price stuff. People just like having a better deal over there, I guess, but that's actually really good for me, $28 average sale price on Poshmark. So let's jump into these sales because I do have a lot to show you. All right, first one on eBay is, I guess I would call these like popular wool brands, and these ones all have the same thing in common. They're like really thick wools. They either have, really nice cable knit stuff, or they have really nice prints. In this case, this one is a really nice print. What I'm looking for right now are like Nordic and Fair Isle prints. Very popular during this time of the year, so definitely something I'm keeping my eye out for because it can add a lot of value, as does that chunky wool knit. So this is a very popular brand within that category. It is Dale of Norway. This is a Dale of Norway men's sweater, and it was actually new with tags, so very great find. You can see it does retail for a lot as well, and I thought this was a really gorgeous color. We listed high and accepted best offer because we weren't really sure where to price it, so I listed at $200 or best offer. Received an offer for $145, and it sold within just 4 days of listing. Next up is a brand I'd recommend you get if you find anything in this brand. Everything sells fantastic, and some pieces, depending on the style, sell for a ton, even pre-owned. This is definitely one of those pieces. So the brand is Frank and Eileen. I would say their shirts are what they're probably most well known for. This is called the Eileen button-up shirt, which I feel like is like their core shirt just because, it's one of the names in the brand. I did pay up for this one a little bit, paid $15, listed it for $145, but it did sell for my full asking price. And this one only took about 4 days to sell. Right, so this next one is a Love Shack fancy dress. This is a brand that I really like picking up. And this brand doesn't seem to matter even if you get it in a small size. It all seems to sell, has a really good following. So here's a label, kind of hard to see because it's kind of like gold on cream. But in general, just a really fantastic brand, and some of their specific pieces go for a lot. This one was called the Corelli dress. I listed it for $120, and it sold for my full asking price. This one did take, about a month to sell, but really good sale price on that, so don't mind waiting a month. All right, next up is an outerwear brand. I love getting it as J. Crew, especially in men's. This is called the Bayswater Peacoat. This is a really thick, heavy, double-breasted men's wool coat, which in general is a category I would look for in just about anything. These dressier wool coats in the men's department tend to perform pretty well, just regardless of brand. So this one I listed very high originally. Probably too high, and I've since dropped the price. This one took, I listed this September 13th, and it sold November 21st, so several months, but not too long. I listed this originally, like I said, very high, probably over $100, and I ended up accepting an offer for this week of $69. So still a great return on investment. Had I priced it a little bit lower, I think it would have sold way more quickly. All right, next up is a newer brand to me. It is, I don't know if it's Way or Wah Maker, but I thought this was a really interesting label. You can see it says Frontier Clothing, and I've noticed any kind of like specialized Western-y stuff is doing really, really well right now. So I figured this would as well. This is called a frock coat, is what this brand calls this coat. And they actually had some pretty good comps for this brand. I listed this high at $85, and it sold very, very quickly. So if you guys see any kind of Western wear, or if the tag specifies something kind of Western, I definitely look it up. All right, next up is a North Face jacket. I'm not picking up a lot of North Face these days. However, they're real like goose down jackets or vests or really anything goose down is doing extremely well still. So this is a North Face women's long length down puffer coat. This one did have some signs of wear, but even still picked it up just because the following was good. I listed it at $100 and was accepting offers, and it sold for $75. And this one sold within 19 days of listing. Next up is a skirt. I don't pick up a whole lot of skirts, but this is one brand I make an exception for. I only really pick them up in the longer lengths and like good materials. This one had both. It was a Ralph Lauren plaid maxi skirt, and it was made out of wool. Long length skirts in this brand in general just do really well for me. This one I listed at $85, which is pretty high, but like I said, they perform extremely well in the longer lengths, and it did sell for my full asking price. Next up is another Ralph Lauren piece. This is a plus size 1X. I've talked about this brand a lot when it comes to really good like bolo brands and plus sizes. So this is a 1X. It was 100% leather, which is the main reason it sold. So a 100% leather shirt. Listed it for $90. It did sell for full asking price. Next up is a shoe brand I'd recommend you look for. If you do comps on this, the sell-through rate is not going to be 100%, but it is pretty decent, and all of the ones that are selling for quite a bit. This brand retails for a ton. It is called Fin Comfort. I know last time I mentioned this brand, you guys dropped a few comments about how either you or someone you know has purchased this brand, and they retail for like hundreds of dollars. So definitely a brand to look out for. They kind of remind me of Birkenstocks on the insole a little bit. They're made in Germany, and they're just really high quality comfort shoes. I listed these for $75. They were in fantastic condition. They were like new without box. I only paid $6 for these, and they sold for my full asking price of $75. This is definitely an underrated brand that people pass over. All right, next up is a vintage piece. This was a really cool sweatshirt. Jordan actually found this at one of our local thrift stores. It was dated 1994, and this is a Bad Boys Pittsburgh Steelers sweatshirt. Really cool graphics on this. Has some stuff signed here as well. Wasn't really sure where to price this at, so just kind of made some stuff up. Listed for $75, got an offer for $65, and we accepted. All right, next up, I've been talking about this quite a bit, vintage Coach bags, and I keep talking about how they all have like a certain look to them. So if you've been wanting to know what that look is, this would be an example of one of them. They're just very simple, high quality leather, and they tend to have this little turn lock here. Mostly neutral colors, I would say, and they almost all of them have this little logo like key tag thing here. So really, really nice. I love finding these, and I always pay up for them because they flip like immediately. This one I paid $25 for. It was like in a glass case at one of the thrift stores I went to. I can pretty much spot these from anywhere now. This is a 90s companion flap bag, and I do think that that the exact style makes a difference. So you always want to look up the serial number on the inside to figure out, you know, which one it is and to make sure it's authentic. Because some of them go for, most vintage Coach bags go for over $100. This one was actually a more saturated vintage bag or vintage style. I listed this one for $70. There were quite a few marks and scratches throughout, and I ended up sending out offers to watchers, and it sold very quickly for $59. So $25 into $59, not bad. And let's see, I listed this on the 23rd. It sold on the 25th, so flipped that very quickly in 2 days. Next up is another Ralph Lauren item. These are a pair of women's wide leg pants, and they were just very interesting looking, and wide leg is still really trendy, so we wanted to get them. We listed these for $50. They sold on an offer to watcher on an international sale for $42. Next up is a brand I would get in just about anything I would come across. It has a huge following. It is CC Filson. Here is the label. This is just a pretty plain men's tan button-up shirt. Really great condition on this one. I listed it for $60 and it sold for full asking price. Here's another kind of overlooked item in the shoe section. Are Skechers vintage, like chunky Y2K platform stuff, or Y2K chunky heels. I come across these pretty often, and I can usually sell them anywhere from like $40 all the way up to like $70. Really depends on, you know, what condition it's in, the size, and things like that. But I consistently sell these. So if you guys come across these, I would definitely recommend picking them up. Most thrift stores do not price them up either. I actually only paid $6 for this. I listed these for $45 and they sold very quickly on an offer to watcher for $38. Next up is an outdoorsy wear brand. I don't talk about much anymore, but during this time of the year, this brand can be pretty good if you've got a substantial piece. This is Orvis. This is a men's Purcell waterproof jacket, and it was in a fantastic color also. So for that reason, I picked this up. It was also size extra large, which helped. Listed it for $45. It sold on an offer to watcher for $38. All right, this is a newer brand to me. This is a t-shirt brand called Woo Wear. From what I can tell, they make kind of like Asian inspired prints, and they're pretty popular. So this one had a really cool all over dragon print. Listed this for $50 and it sold for full asking price. Zara is also a brand I don't pick up much of anymore. However, if I see something super unique or substantial, I always look it up. This one is a really just kind of wacky out there, longer length, long sleeve, multicolor striped dress with some like pom-poms on all the tiers. I also found a new tag, so that really helped. But like I said, any kind of wacky Zara item, I always get it, always ends up performing well. I listed this for $45. It sold on an international sale for my full asking price. Next up is the brand AMI. This is a newer brand to me, and it sells pretty good. Both men's and women's has a good following. This is just kind of like a baseball t-shirt. They called it the Dead Core t-shirt. So raglan t-shirt. Everything that I have listed in this brand always sells really quickly. Listed this one for $50, and this brand t-shirt sold for full asking price. This was also an international sale too. So I think I had some really good luck on international sales on eBay this week. All right, next up is a brand I would keep your eye out for. It is Cirque du Soleil, and they make some really interesting like kind of art to wear pieces. This one is a size XXL, which I do think to help sell it more quickly. I listed this for $50 and it sold for full asking price. Next up is Madewell. I don't pick up hardly any of the Madewell jeans anymore. It's just super oversaturated for most styles. However, the maternity jeans actually have a pretty good sell-through rate and do really well. So what I do is just kind of go through the maternity area and I look for this little M, which is on the back of the pocket on the top right corner of one of the pockets. And usually any Madewell maternity jean is going to do well. I listed these for $40 and they sold for full asking price. Next up is another kind of Western wear thing. This is Justin in their Gypsy line. Pretty much any Western boots I'm looking up, even if they do look a little rugged, just because there is a following for them right now. So this Gypsy line I have sold in the past and always performs well for me. I listed for $40, even with wear throughout. They sold very quickly on an offer to watcher of $34. Next up is an Athleta piece. This is a newer Athleta, I believe. Yep, holiday 2022, so within the last year. And more recent Athleta sells pretty well for me. I always obviously look up the style, but in general I would say the newer stuff is a pretty safe bet, especially in outerwear. This is a cozy Sherpa sweatshirt by Athleta, and I listed it for $35. It sold for full asking price. Next up is another Ralph Lauren plus size item. This is a Ralph Lauren 1X women's lamb's wool shirt. This one I listed for $35 and it sold for full asking price. I honestly think we could have priced that higher and probably have gotten more, but still happy with a quick sale. All right, this brand has been really surprising to me lately. This is Universal Standard. A size large in this brand translates to a plus size, so they do have like a size conversion. This actually sold in a bundle of 2 items, which were both basically the same thing, Universal Standard, larger size high-rise pants. And both of those items sold in a bundle for $75 plus shipping. So about like $37 each. So they got a little bit of a discount for purchasing multiple items. But overall, I mean, that is really good for this brand, because I never used to pick it up because the sell-through on eBay wasn't very high, but I'm starting to notice the move every time I list them. I don't know if it's just because we're getting some larger sizes or if it's everything that's selling, but it is a brand that I'm starting to pick up more and more. All right, next up is another plus size brand. It is Torrid. This is a Torrid curve item in a size 3. Plus it is new with tags, so lots of factor stacking there. Probably the large size and new with tags being the 2 biggest factors. This is a cherry print bodysuit. I listed this for $35. It sold on an offer to watcher for $30. Next up is another Filson item. This is CC Filson. This one is also like a men's khaki tan shirt. However, this one had several spots throughout, so we priced it lower because of that. Listed this one for $35. It sold on an offer to watcher for $30. All right, next up is a Bolo brand in skirts. It is Rip Skirt Hawaii. This is a brand I just learned about this year, and I think I found 2 at this point. This one I paid $4.99 for. It is a brand made in Hawaii, or designed in Hawaii, and this one is a size large. They're just really easy to put on, I think is why people like them. It's got like Velcro. You just kind of wrap the skirt around you, and really great following on it. And the larger size on this, I think, definitely upped the value. I listed this one for $35, and it did sell for full asking price. Next up, another plus size Ralph Lauren 3X on this one. It was also linen. I listed this for $30, and it sold for full asking price. Next up is a menswear brand that I love selling. If you do comps on this sell-through rate is not 100%, but I still have really good luck flipping it, so I continue to pick it up. Carbine to Cobalt. This one's a men's size large full zip jacket. Listed it for $27 because there was a spot on the back, and it did sell for full asking price. And I've been selling a lot of this brand lately. Here's another plus size item. I'm showing a lot of these because when I did the plus size haul, everyone was like, not everybody, only a couple people really, but they were like, basically like, yeah, there's no way you actually sell these brands. Yeah, you're just doing it for whatnot. No, I actually do sell these brands in plus sizes, and they perform pretty well for me. So here's another example. This is the Talbot's Tee, Talbot's plus size 3X. For a lot of these plus size brands, you do have to factor stack a lot to get these kind of prices. Otherwise, they probably go for like $15, $20. But this one is a larger size. It is multicolor. It's paisley. and it's a 3/4 length sleeve. So all those factors combined, I listed this for $30, and it did sell for full asking price. Next up is more of a factor stacking piece. One of my wholesalers, Trash Pandas Wholesale, is actually like, I'm starting to just kind of trust the pieces that she's sending to me, because she basically factor stacks a lot of vintage stuff, and it's just stuff that I can't really look up, and they're all selling for me. So I'm starting to trust her judgment a little bit and learn a little bit from her. And this is one of those pieces that I think she would have picked up. This is a vintage Carol black velvet embroidered maxi skirt. And we also included the keyword fairy on this. So lots of keywords and a lot of factor stacking. Carol Little is not typically a brand I would get, but all of those factors combined, just the style, aesthetic, we thought it would do well. So I listed this at $30. It sold really quickly, probably about 2 months within our time frame, for an offer to watcher of $25. And this otherwise would have been a piece that, we wouldn't have gotten just because of brand. Next up is a brand that does have a large following. It is Topo Designs. These are a pair of men's shorts. All their stuff kind of looks like this. I listed these for $30. They did have a small spot on the front, and they sold on an offer to watcher for $25. Next up, this is kind of a bread and butter men's brand for me. It is the Territory Ahead. There is not 100% sell-through rate on this on eBay. However, kind of like Carbon to Cobalt, I have pretty good luck selling it. This is typically, like I said, more bread and butter, like $20-25. This one is a men's corduroy shirt, which definitely helped to add some value. And I listed this for $27. It sold on an offer to watcher for $23. This is another plus size brand I've talked about a lot, is Michael Kors. Michael Kors plus size does well for me. This is a 1X animal print top, listed it for $25, sold on an offer to watcher for $21. This is another bread and butter, and we did a deep dive on Under Armour, and if you haven't watched that video, one of the things we talked about that were selling pretty well are the Project Rock, which is what this little bull logo is here. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson collaborated with Under Armour, and that line performs extremely well in both men's and women's. You're not going to get a ton for everything, but in general, pretty good flip, especially if you can find it at the bins or on sale. So these are a pair of women's Under Armour Project Rock leggings. I listed them for $25. They sold for $21. Next up is another plus size brand I like selling. It is Susan Graver. This is a 3X. This is kind of like an animal print tunic top. I listed this for $25, and it did sell for our full asking price, and it even had a couple of missing sequins. All right, moving on to Poshmark. This is a men's piece that sold for around my full asking price, and this is a great athletic wear brand to be on the lookout for. Not a lot of people know about this brand. It is Rhone. Rhone. This brand performs extremely well. This is a men's long sleeve polo, and it sold for $40. This is a newer brand to me also. It is Poncho. I have no idea what this brand is like known for, but they do have magnetic pockets, which I found interesting. This is a men's short sleeve button-down shirt. I was worried that this wouldn't be searchable just because it's Poncho, but it's a shirt. But it actually sold really quickly for $40. So this is a brand I'm definitely going to keep my eye out for. All right, this also goes along with that category I was talking about before, which are the thick wool sweaters. This one is Shades of Iran, made in Ireland. Men's size XXL zip sweater. This one sold for $51, and you can see this has a ton of all over cable knit. This would have been a good one to use the keyword fisherman on. So keyword for you if you have something with a bunch of all over cable knit. All right, I actually sold 2 of these dresses this week. So this is a very popular style. If you see it, it is by Anthropologie, which is their house line. And this is like an all over eyelet dress. This one is called the Somerset dress, and really good sell-through rate on this. So this specific style, if you see it, I would definitely get it. This one sold for $51. Here's another North Face piece. In addition to looking for the goose down items, I've noticed the men's larger size pieces also are still performing well. So sometimes I'll pick them up depending on price. This is a men's extra large North Face, just plain logo hoodie, and it sold for $29. Next up, this is a bra brand with a really good following. It is Cup, spelled C-U-U-P. I've been selling a lot of this lately, and it flips very quickly. This is just an animal print bra, and they usually have the style name right on the inside too, which is super convenient. And this bra sold for $28 pre-owned. Another jeanswear brand. This is one of my favorite brands to find in the women's department, which there are few. I don't pick up a lot of women's jeans anymore, but Judy Blue is one that still flips very quickly for me. So this is a Judy Blue size 11 skinny fit jean. It went for $30 on Poshmark. Another brand that's very popular right now is Spanx, and particularly the like wide leg or flare or straight leg items. There's specifically a style called the Perfect Pant that is like crazy insane sell-through rate that everybody's buying, so keep your eye out for it. These ones are called the On The Go Kick Flare Pants in a bright red, and they went for $42. Here's that other Anthropologie Somerset dress. You can see it's a different color, but it sold for $45. All right, this is my first time selling a Sundance handbag, and it was super high quality. I really love this one. This one also sold super quickly. So if you come across Sundance, it is a clothing wear brand that in general I like picking up. However, their leather goods sell for a lot. Super high quality handbag. And this one sold for $86. Another handbag, this is Dooney and Burke. This is a vintage Dooney. It was called the Cavalry crossbody bag. You have to be careful because Dooney and Burke can be like faked. So you always want to look for signs of authenticity, but this was a pretty good one, and it went for $55. Here's another Spanx item. This is their line Red Hot by Spanx. This is a bodysuit in a size large, and larger sizes do well by Spanx. And this went for $42. I thought that was a really high price for this. All right, leather knee-high boots are a category I'm keeping my eye out for, and this is a really great brand to look for in leather boots. It is Clark's. They make some pretty high quality pieces, and they definitely have a following. These were some really nice pair of boots. They were called the Marana Trudy knee-high boots. I listed them probably around $60 and accepted an offer of $49. This is a newer brand to me and one I would keep your eye out for. It is Alana Cone. This is a little crop sweater in a size extra small, and it sold for $51. This is a jeanswear brand. I think this might be the only time I found it. It is 1791 Supply Company. Only reason I looked at this was because it said selvage, and anytime I see selvage denim, I am looking it up. It almost always performs well. That's basically just a really raw, thick denim. Look it up if you're unsure as to what it is, but it did state selvage on the inside, and these ended up selling for $40. Here's another brand that's been performing pretty well for me. It is Wild Fang, and some of these items go for a lot more. This was a pair of animal print pants, and it sold for $35. This brand, I don't want to say exclusively, but almost exclusively always sells for me on Poshmark versus eBay. It does not perform very well for me on eBay, but on Poshmark, people really love the wide leg pants in this brand, so I continue to get them. They usually sell for about $30 to $40 for me. These were a nice pair of kind of like acidy wash looking wide leg jeans. They were called the Getaway Denim jeans, and they sold for $42. I was really happy with that sale. This is a menswear brand that has a really good sell-through rate, and depending on which piece you have, like what the print is, can go for a lot more. This one's a pretty plain kind of geometric polo, and it sold for $30. This is a brand I like getting in certain pieces. I definitely don't pick up everything in this brand, but one of the things that I love picking up in this brand is their like kind of wacky sweaters. They make a lot of team branded stuff. And depending on what it is and how intricate it is, I will pick it up. This is an Ohio State Buckeyes zip sweater and also a larger size, and it just had some really fantastic details to it. I love picking up stuff like this. I usually have to make up a price, and this one ended up selling for $50, which I felt was great. And that's one of the reasons I do like picking up sweaters like this, is because you can, make your own price for it and just let the market decide. This is another pretty high sell-through rate brand. It is Norma Kamali, and they make, not always, but they're kind of known for like their all black pieces, kind of dressier looking, but very easy to put on. These are a pair of super wide leg pull-on pants, and they sold for $40. This was a really, really surprising find. This is a Trader Joe's linen apron, and I got this in wholesale, and I was like, surely this, doesn't sell very well. And I looked up comps and was blown away. So you guys should definitely go look up Trader Joe's linen aprons and see what you find. This one actually sold for my full asking price of $30 on Poshmark. I think most of the comps I saw were like 20 to 25. So I'm really happy with that sale, but I would have also been happy with 20 to 25, just a quick flip. But if you guys see these Trader Joe's aprons, I think the reason people like them is because it looks like it kind of just pulls over. So ease of use. All right, next up, this also falls in that, thick knit sweaters and nice prints category. This is an LL Bean women's plus size sweater, and you can see it's got that like all over Fair Isle Nordic print to it, some interesting buttons as well. Really high quality piece. It sold for $46. Here's another newer Athleta piece. This is a size large up-tempo wrap cardigan. And this went for $46 pre-owned on Posh. And lastly is just kind of like a niche goth label. It is Club X by Dolls Kill. Very, very gorgeous pattern on this one. Pretty much anything you see that seems like it might be a niche goth brand, I would just do a comp on it because it almost always pans out. And this dress sold for $55. Okay, so that's it for what sold last week. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.